Questions can be some of the scariest things we hear as people. Did you hear something outside the tent? Why are you holding a gun? Do you want to hang out sometime? Terrifying. But not quite as terrifying as this one that we all encounter at some point in our lives. Who are you? It's petrifying when you think about it, because you quickly realize you have no clue how to answer. Like, seriously, what the fuck? This seems so basic. There must be an answer. Do I really not know who I am? Do I just start, listing jobs I've had or something? How do I begin to describe myself? Do I just say I'm gregarious? Am I just a total idiot? Yes, you really don't. No, you don't. You don't know what that means, and yes. But don't worry, this is actually fine. Nobody actually knows who they are because that's a stupid question. Nobody has ever been able to answer this question accurately, except, I guess, for people who say something to the effect of, I am an infinite matrix of undefinable complexity that is beyond the power of the spoken or written word. So, virgins, basically. But that doesn't stop us from trying to answer this question, both to others and ourselves. We try like hell to define ourselves with visual cues, opinions, and labels. A girl wears a bindi and a headband to Coachella and calls herself spiritual. An old dude buys a Harley, grows a beard, gets tattoos, and thinks that makes him a Hell's Angel. Some doofus watches anime and eats California rolls and considers himself a ninja. An identity can be comforting. It sets defining boundaries for how we feel, dress, act, eat, and think. The problem with anything resembling an identity is that, well, it sets defining boundaries for how we feel, dress, act, eat, and think, which, if you have those, are you even really a person? Isn't the point of being a human instead of, I don't know, a warthog, that we get to be unlimited in these things? Isn't the most human thing in the world to be too complex to be accurately identified? When you think about it, establishing and following an identity keeps you from being fully human. It keeps you from being fully yourself and limits you to your labels and groups. I'm an intellectual vegan Yankees fan. I'm a compassionate liberal mom. I'm a Christian lesbian puggle. So not only do we label ourselves with this overarching bullshit, but we take other people's labels super seriously. He's a single dad? What a hero. Oh, he's a conservative? Fuck that guy. If you believe in gender equality, then you are a feminist. You are. Look at the dictionary. Call yourself one. Do it right now! Before you say that last part is a sexist representation of a shrieking hysterical woman, keep in mind that in my head that's actually a pandering dude in a women's studies group, so maybe you shouldn't jump to conclusions, sexist. Identities cause us to be closed-minded and to oversimplify, and worst of all, they put us into groups. And as a general rule, groups of people are one of humanity's worst ideas. They do nothing but make enemies out of potential friends and friends out of assholes. In groups, we dismiss outsiders, we lock them out of our lives, and as a result, we miss out on people who are 95% awesome because we can't stop focusing on their 5% asshole. Or even worse, the reverse happens. We huddle up with people who generally suck because we share a common interest or a common label. The more you get involved with your group, the more likely you are to start to think that everybody who isn't one of you is a brain-dead piece of shit. This goes for families, professions, friends, lobbies, the academy, political parties, fraternities, religions, ethnicities, and LARPers. Groups by their very nature always become insular, elitist gaggles of tunnel-vision douchebags who spend most of their time jerking each other off, and there's a reason why. Once you attach yourself to a system of belief or a group, it becomes a part of your identity, and challenging that becomes scary. So you no longer seek to find out if things are correct or good, but instead whether or not they're Christian or libertarian or feminist. That becomes what good means to you. And eventually you completely lose your objectivity, and you end up just trying to show how on your own team you are. This is a shame because as individuals, we're so much more complex and interesting than our groups. This is why although groups are defined by what they agree on, when you begin to look under the hood on any of them, they really don't agree on anything. Feminists, doctors, the Occupy movement, I mean, shit, Christians can't all agree on how to be Christian, and they literally all follow the same fucking book. But there's a really important thing to note here. This is how it should be. We shouldn't try to get everyone on the same page. This is how people actually are deep down. We're mentally diverse creatures that spiderweb into all different directions. Identities and groups pull us away from that authentic self. They cause you to lose track of what you really want and really believe in, and when you do that, you completely lose track of who you are and what makes you happy. So consider letting go of all of your identities and absolving yourself of all of your groups. From now on, you are not a libertarian or a hippie or a LARPer. You are just a ball of bumbling, egocentric, mildly self-aware flesh, and this is how you feel right now. For more on this, check out my full post, The Prison of Identity.